Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to jump underneath this thing and start torquing down all of our nuts and bolts to the suspension that we installed a couple weeks ago. Went online to Off-Road Design and got all the torque specs for the 9/16, 5/8, and I believe 1/2 inch bolts, just depending on what size your truck has. I got a list of what I need. You can go on there and print them out. I just Googled it, Off-Road Design U-bolt torque specs, and it came up, and there's they have a whole printout for the stuff they sell. We're using some of their stuff, so I'm going to just go ahead and use that as my reference. I hope that helps. I'm going to cut you off here. I'm going to go around and torque them all down, and then we'll start on the shocks. And it's always good to cut the torque in half so you can torque it at 50, and then once you go around torque everything at 50, then you can load it up to 100 and go around torque them all at 100, or whatever, half of whatever the torque spec is that it calls for you. So I'm going to bounce around and just hit all these in the front, and then I'm going to move to the back, and we'll touch back here when I'm done. All right, everybody, we got the suspension all torqued down to the proper torque specs as best we could with our handy dandy torque wrench. The shocks I'm going to be using are the BDS Suspension Fox 2.0s. Came with the lift kit that I ordered. It's a BDS lift kit. Storm's going to be rolling in here shortly, and it's probably going to start getting wet. I've got a tool I'm going to open up that I ordered last week, and I'll make a little video on that, a little tutorial. You guys can check that out. Anyways, stay with me, and I'll be back when the sun is shining. All right, everybody, I had to bring these inside. It was super windy, getting cold outside. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble all these from the packaging and cut all the straps and get them set up with the appropriate bolts. I had to run into town and get new bolts, so I got those picked up this morning. I'll go ahead and unbox them all, and we will get them set up and ready to install. Each shock came with its rubber bushings and hardware, which is good. Didn't come with the bolts though, just the rubber bushings and the metal sleeves. All right, you guys, the easiest way that I found to insert these shock bushings, because they're really tight, I've just been squirting them with a little bit of Windex, and then using the shock bolts that I bought to mount them onto the truck. So what I'm going to do is set it up like that, because these are pretty stiff. They won't press in by hand. I tried to put them in hit them with the hammer, but I didn't want to ruin them. I just took a washer, put it on the back side. This is just to get it started. I scored it with a little bit of Windex as lube. I don't want to get any oil all over the place using WD-40 or something, but you could do it as long as you're careful. And I just torque that in there. I'll just go till it bottoms out. Bottomed out there. I'm gonna back it off. Go ahead and pull the nut off. I'm going to go ahead and do both sides, because then from here I'll take it over to the vise, and then you just line it up and then smack it through, and the last one went pretty simple. I'm going to take it over to the vise. I open up the jaws where they sit just like that, and then tap the rubber piece in. I'll bring you over there and see if I can hold the camera and show you here. All right, you guys, so basically I'm just going to set my shock on there right here on the outer surrounding to the jaws of my vise. Just going to set it on there lightly, take my mallet and pops it right through. So it's pretty gentle. It's not like it's going to damage anything. All done. We got 3 more to do. So I'm going to cut you off here. I won't bore you with all of them, and then we'll head out to the Suburban and hopefully get them mounted up. All right, you guys, I forgot to talk about these little sleeves that go in the bushings here. When inserting these, most of the time they go in by hand until they hit the center. You don't want to hit them with a steel hammer. You don't want to mushroom this, because then when you go to put your bolts through, you're going to have a heck of a time, because they're a pretty tight fit with the bolts that go through them. But anyways, when I was taking the old ones off, whoever had installed them before had smacked them with a hammer, and they got dented and were all gummed up there, and I couldn't even get the bolt out. I had to beat it out with a punch. But anyways, just a little tip there: when you press these ones in, use a soft mallet or maybe a nice big flat piece of a bigger washer or something, and press it in with your vise. Hope that helps you guys out a little bit, saves you some trouble. Also, I wanted to show you guys the numbers on these shocks. I don't know if you can read those, but those are what I'm using. One's a little longer for the rear. I'm not sure if they're a BDS part number or if you can actually get them through the Vox website. Anyways, I hope that helps out. If you guys are interested in getting a set of these, or if you have a set of these, comment on it. Let me know what you think of them. I've never used them. This is probably the nicest shock I've ever bought. That being said, that Suburban came stock with quad shocks in the front. I'm not putting quad shocks in the front. If you see any reason of why I should run another shock in the front, or if it's going to give me better drivability or anything like that, let me know. Comment. I'm up for anything, you know, just trying to get this thing to run smooth. Anyways, I hope this helps you guys out. I'm going to head out there in the wind and I'm going to go install. All right, you guys, so what I ran into was an issue. The shock's not long enough for the rear with the stock shock mounts. The kit did come with new weldable shock mounts. I was just hoping I didn't have to take that extra step, and they're going to get mounted up here on the axle tube. So that's another setback there that I'm going to have to do. Should be pretty simple. I'll probably clean these up and weld the new ones on just to get the shocks on, and cut these off later when I can get closer to my plasma cutter. All right, you guys, so here's the front shocks mounted up. Not how they're supposed to be. I believe that this mount has to come down at least an inch or an inch and a half for these shocks to work. This is where the second shock would go if I was running the quad shocks. This works. It's going to work for now, but I think the appropriate thing would be to take these rivets out and drop everything down about an inch or an inch and a half. I'm not sure if the issue is because I moved the leaf spring forward 1 inch, but take that into consideration if you guys are going to attempt this upgrade. Another thing is these shock tubes up here were hitting this whole area right there. So these would have to be clearanced a good 1/8 of an inch with your grinder, even if you moved them down. But I'm going to leave them like that for now. I've got to weld new shock tabs in the rear to get those mounted up, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow. So check back with you then. All right, you guys. Since we used our ORD reverse shackle flip in the rear, it raised up the truck about 3 inches from the stock height, and plus I'm using these 6-inch lift springs. When we put the shocks on, it puts our shocks about 3 inches shy. So we're going to cut these hangers off and weld on these relocation brackets, probably about 3 to 4 inches up, and hopefully we can get the appropriate travel out of our shock then. going to cut you off here. I'm going to start grinding these off, and we'll get back with it. We got that one zipped off. We're going to go ahead and take the big flap disc and clean up those old wells, and then we'll jump to the other side. I'm going to cut you off here, and I'll show you when I'm done. All right, you guys, we got this all cleaned up. Got our marks on there where we're going to weld on our new tab. Unfortunately, we ran into another snag. These tabs I figured out are the wrong size. They're made for a 1/2 inch hole. These are a 9/16. So once I ran into that dilemma, I figured out what my issue was on the front shock mount. These are actually relocators for the front. So if I weld these to the front of the axle and put my front shock back in the original hole, it'll work perfectly. So all I got to do is either make a set of these or order a set. That being said, I'm stuck in a bind. I could drill these out and reuse them, and just order a set for the front. So I got my new punch tool over there. I think I could punch out some holes and make my own brackets, except I don't have the flat stock to do it. So I'm going to cut you off here until I figure out what I'm going to do next. All right, you guys, I hem-hawed around about these brackets, if I should drill them out. I don't have the right size drill bit out here, so I've got to purchase one of those. But then I was looking at these old ones I cut off, and I was thinking, well, why not just remark them so they're the same on both sides, and go ahead and cut them with the little axle arch in it, and make sure they're both the same, and re-weld them back on. How hard would that be? Save me some time. I can reuse these for the front like they're supposed to be, and fix all my little shenanigan mistakes. Anyways, that's all part of the process. You know, you're changing things. That suspension kit that I bought from BDS was for, like, if I was running it on a stock setup, everything would have bolted in perfectly. But since we changed some things around and are playing around with the suspension, this is part of the process. So bear with me, and we'll get this thing done and hopefully on the road soon. I know I keep saying that, but it's one day at a time, and we're chasing the weather right now. So here I go. I'm going to attempt to upgrade the ones I cut off. So wish me luck. And there we go. Use the original bracket. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut up the other one, and then we'll get back on it, see if they work. All right, everybody, we got the shock mounts relocated, so we're going to go ahead and start installing our shocks finally. All right, everybody, we got our shocks on finally. Took me a little bit longer than anticipated. But that's just the way it goes. Alright, something I wanted to talk about here on my front shock mount. So this is where the quad shock setup would go. There was one here and one here. Originally this shock should sit up here, but it's too short. So where those shock relocation brackets go is they sit right on top of here, which makes you be able to put that shock back and get the proper throw for the suspension. Anyways, hope that helps. I know it's a little confusing, but one thing at a time. Hey, welcome back everybody. Taking a little break from my Suburban project. Got a lot of grinding to do this afternoon. But I had ordered this tool about a week or so ago. I wanted to make a video on it. This is a VEVOR CH-60. This is for punching holes through sheet metal. I think it goes up to 1/4 inch or 3/16. So we're going to get this thing out and get it together and punch some holes and see what happens. You know, if you're a hobbyist, or maybe you're a car builder and you need to punch some holes for some spot welds or something, this thing would work. But it's definitely heavy. This is a benchtop tool. It's not universal where you can just take it up to the car or the piece of sheet metal. You have to bring it to here. But we're going to get it out. We'll go over a couple things about it and then start assembling it. I also did pick up the electric hydraulic pump to run it. Initially I was going to run it on my air compressor, and then I saw the pump. You know, for under 500 bucks I got the whole kit. So we'll get it together and see how it goes. Online they make two different ones. There's the 60 and the 70. And I would imagine that's just the amount of pressure it goes through. Got all the little dies. Standard dies, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, and 3/4. So we're gonna open this up and check out the dies we got here. Anyways, this little tool right here will be, when you go to release it, you can shove this in here and the shoulders will push down on this and pop out of the sheet metal. So there's that. And then let's get the pump out. Ooh, it's heavy. The whole unit's heavy. So there we go. There's the electric hydraulic pump. So it came with 2 hoses, but I believe you can get a different setup where you can run multiple, like two of these if you wanted, or run it into your pipe bender, your tube bender, which comes with a different junction block right here. I only have the one, but they sent me 2 hoses. Anyways, I'm gonna get this thing clipped up and try to get it together, and then we'll punch some holes, so hang tight. All right, you guys, it's got a filler hole right here for the hydraulic fluid. I'm going to go ahead and just get it set up, and then we'll do a close-up zoom around at the end. So it calls for 15 to 32. So all I got is a giant funnel. We'll go ahead and hook up a hydraulic line. Any pipe dope on that. It's pretty fine threads. All right, you guys, I got another gallon in there. This thing's full. It took two gallons of this hydraulic oil, STP AW32. Got it full of that. I got my 3/8 line connected here. Oil goes here, and there's a sight glass in the front, and then it connects to the thread end quick connect. I'm going to grab you, and I'm going to come do a short walk around here up close. All right, there's the pump. This is the oil port hole. This is where the threaded 3/8 insert goes for the hydraulic hose. Your gauge. It's actually ran. This is basically your on off. I got it hooked up to 110. Got the quick disconnect screwed in coupler connected. And then down here is where the arbor is. So I am missing the 3/4, didn't come in the kit. This is the bottom piece. This is actually switched out for when you do a 3/4, so the little knockout could fall through. I'm gonna unplug it here and then I'll go over changing the bits. All right, to change the bits on this thing, on the bottom half there is a Allen hole. You can just loosen those. I'm not gonna do it because it's pretty self-explanatory. There's one on both sides. You can drop this out. You can slide in the bigger size and then tighten it up and it locks it in place. And then up underneath here, you can take your Allen and unlock this. If I can get it with one hand. Whoop. Yeah, there it goes. And this just unscrews. Drops it out in the little cone. You can switch the arbor. Put it back up in there. Screw it back in. Make sure everything's lined up. And then give her a little torque with the little Allen wrench in the little hole there. And boom, they're swapped out. I'm gonna cycle this through a couple times. I'm gonna go plug it back in and then we'll cycle it through to make sure that our arbor's lined up with the base. And then we'll punch some metal. Got it all hooked up. I had it hooked up and nothing was happening. So I did a little research, and in the book it says to open the air out screw before operating. Well, my research on the interwebs is the air out screw would be the oil fill cap. They said to pull that off. So I pulled that off, still couldn't get it to cycle, I actually pushed it back and leaned it forward and it started cycling. So not sure if something was just stuck from sitting in there, but I'm going to go ahead and do a dry run on my bit here. So there we go. Cycled in, the holes lined up. I'm going to set you up on the tripod and then I'm going to go ahead and start punching a few holes. All right, the first one we're going to attempt to do is your standard 18 gauge. I know a lot of guys use this on their hot rod parts. So you can take the key, you can stick it in there. All that is for is the return. And then I'll go ahead and give it a shot. Here we go. Wow, it went through that like butter. Check that out. Didn't even phase it. Leaves a little bit of an indentation. Not too bad. That's the back side, front side. All right, let's do some 1/8 inch aluminum. See what that does. Go ahead and give that one a shot. That was no problem there. A little bit of an indentation or a dimple. Can't even really tell. Pretty clean on both sides. The next piece I got is a piece of 10 gauge. This one already has some holes in it, but we'll go ahead and make another one. See, I'll go right in the center of those two. See if I do it this way. That one was definitely a little thicker, but popped the hole right down the center of that. You see that? leaves these little buttons hard to see. What's the next one I got? Some 3/16. I don't know if it said it would do that, but we'll give it a shot. We'll watch the meter over there. We'll put this guy in. Wow, that one was easier than the last one. It punched the hole, this one right here, no problem. Now my alternator bracket has an extra hole in it. Same thing, leaves a little button. We can go up one more. I can try quarter and see what that does. The quarter barely fits underneath there, so I don't think that it'll do quarter. Let me see, let me back up a little bit. Oh, there we go. I just didn't have it backed off all the way. Could have went all the way, I was just making me nervous. But it busted through the 1/4 inch plate, no problem. Top hole there, 3/8. Anyway, took me a little while to get it figured out. But yeah, for the price, you can't beat it. Now I just want to sit here and punch holes all day. But I got to get back on my Suburban project. So hope you guys enjoyed this introductory of this tool. Like I said, I'm not going to use it every day, so I didn't need to go get a $5,000 tool when I could get this one. Anyways, it's fun to set up and do new things, and thanks for watching. All right, you guys, you watch me punch holes through all these different plates. Some of this 18 gauge, 1/8 inch aluminum. With these little buttons. I just did the 3/8, but I mean, it's the same thing for all the other sizes. I am going to call their customer service and see if I can get my 3/4 inch die. They seem like they got a pretty good customer service line. I was on the interwebs reading because I was having issues with this thing cycling. I couldn't get it to go. I just rocked it back and forth gently, and all of a sudden it started going. So I don't know if the pump was stuck or something was stuck in there. The big thing was this air bleed off. They say that they want you to open a bleed off screw. Well, the oil cap is the bleed off screw, is what I found when I researched that. And I did find that they do make like oval dies, or like an oblong die. I seen some videos online. The guys were using them to make like on some of the old 4-speeds, those oblong shifter linkages. They almost look just like that. So they were talking about making their own shifter linkages and stuff. But anyways, yeah, they do make different shapes for these dies. You could probably make your own if you're crafty, but like I said, I'm just going to use it for basic hole punching and some sheet metal. So hopefully it'll last me a little while. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment and like and subscribe. It does help us out. This is not a paid advertisement. I'm doing this on my own. It was just a tool that I bought. And I've got a couple other tools that I bought actually a couple years ago that I want to do. I got a plane-machine hammer from Carl Fisher, Make It Custom. When he was making his, I got one of those I want to set up and use. And I bought a Shape-O-Matic from Sosa Metal Works when they first introduced theirs. So I have those. I just got one of them, the Sosa Metal Works hammer, together, but it's really loud and I don't have a spot to actually run it yet. So I'm not a professional. These are just things that I want to learn and get to know how to do. And these tools came available, and I picked them up. So stay tuned for that. If you'd like to see anything else, hopefully we'll be getting started on another car project once the Suburban's up and rolling. Just got the brake line, or the rear brake steel lines in today, but they're in town. That's 50 miles away, so I got to go pick those up. But hopefully we'll have another video dropping on the Suburban project. Once again, thanks for watching, and I appreciate you guys and all your positive comments. Thank you.